Hello witches, wizards, and those who are yet to receive their Hogwarts school letters, welcome to my Harry Potter kitchen. This is the YouTube series where I'm baking my way through the Harry Potter books, creating recipes every time we find an item of food and drink inside. If you missed last week's recipe where we served up a mandrake vegetable soup with little mandrake dumplings, then make sure you check out the link down below in the description to catch up. And if you're new to the kitchen and you want to see some more Harry Potter recipes, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. Speaking of which, we've got another one for you to tuck into. Okay, so let's head back into chapter 18, Dobby's Reward, to find out what's next. Okay, so now everyone else has left, so it's just Dumbledore and Harry, and he's explaining why Fawkes came to help him and that the Sword of Gryffindor would only present itself to a true Gryffindor. So now Harry is feeling a lot better and knows that he belongs in that house. Then in comes Lucius Malfoy along with Dobby, which is a nice surprise, but Lucius Malfoy is trying to cause some trouble. Harry is having none of it though. He's got a plan of his own, so he hides his sock inside the diary, and when Lucius Malfoy gives that to Dobby, Dobby is set free, which is an amazing end of the year. Speaking of which, it's the end of year Hogwarts feast, but unfortunately there is only one item of food left. Nevertheless, Gryffindor have won the House Cup thanks to some last minute points, and then I can see our next recipe. Shame, said Ron, helping himself to a jam donut. It's time for a house victory donut. If you'd like to recreate this Hogwarts House jam donut recipe, then all the ingredients, measurements and instructions can be found on my website, bradleybakes.co.uk. The link is down below in the description. Jam donuts are back for the Chamber of Secrets. Last year during the Philosopher's Stone we made donuts twice, once for our giant Krispy Kreme and once for our lightning bolt jam donuts. So this year we need to try something a little bit different, and I've decided to make Hogwarts House inspired jam donuts with a lovely vibrant icing on each of them. It's going to be a similar twist on our copycat Krispy Kreme recipe because donuts don't get any better than Krispy Kremes. Then I'll show you how to make your own homemade jam filling and your own Krispy Kreme style icing. It is going to be a very soft dough, so I'm going to use my stand mixer, but it's also an incredibly easy donut recipe. So if you've never made donuts at home before, this is what you need to do. The process is very similar to our babka recipe. All you need to do is get a pan on a medium heat and warm up your milk. Remember, we only want this to be lukewarm, so don't let it boil. I'm then going to pour that into a bowl and add in my sugar and my yeast. I'm using light soft brown sugar just to add some more caramel taste to our donut. Whisk that through and then leave that to one side for 5 to 10 minutes until some bubbles start to form. This is how you know our yeast has activated. In a separate jug I'm going to crack in my egg and add in some vanilla extract before whisking that together. When the yeast mixture is ready you can then pour that in and whisk them until well combined. I'm then going to get myself a bowl and add in my flour, my salt and my vegetable shortening. This is what gives your donuts that melt in the mouth feel. Work the shortening into the flour with your fingertips until it forms fine breadcrumbs and then make a weld in the middle. Pour in your yeast milk mixture, and then this needs to go on my stand mixer, kneading it for about 5 to 10 minutes until it forms a soft, smooth dough. Once it's nice and glossy and springy to the touch, you'll know it's ready, so you can transfer that into a well-oiled bowl, place some cling film over the top, and then it needs to go into a warm, dry space for about an hour until it's doubled in size. Okay, so our donut dough has risen wonderfully, so now it's time to shape our donuts. And of course, we've made lightning bolt donuts before, so you can shape these into any form you like, but I'm gonna go with the classic circle because that means we can fit as much jam inside these as possible before we coat them. It's really easy to shape your donuts, so this is what you need to do. To begin shaping your donuts, you want to knock back the air slightly by kneading it for about 30 seconds to a minute. Transfer it to a lightly floured surface and then give it another quick knead. I'm then going to take a rolling pin and then roll that out. We want it to be about an inch thick, as remember we'll let them rise again so they won't come out too flat. Take yourself your cutter and then dip that into some flour before pressing it into the dough. Try to work as efficiently as possible to get as many circles out of the dough, but if you do have any bits left over, you can bind them back together into a ball, roll it out again, and then cut away. Once they're all cut, I'm going to transfer them onto a lightly greased tray, cover them with cling film, and they need to double in size again. It should take about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, so while our donuts are having their second rise, we're going to move on to making the jam filling. It's a really quick and easy donut jam, and I'm going to go for raspberry because that's my favorite, but you can switch that out for any other fruit you like, or if you prefer something different, maybe you want to go for a custard filling or a butterbeer filling. Maybe we'll bring that next time. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make your raspberry jam out of 3 quick ingredients, and then we'll let that cool before we fry our donuts. You want to get yourself a saucepan and place it on a medium-high heat before adding in your raspberries and your sugar. I'm also going to get the juice of half a lemon. A quick trick is to roll the lemon in your palm just to help break up some of those segments. Cut it in half, and then I'm going to squeeze out the juice. Pour that through a sieve and into your pan. Mix your ingredients until they're well combined, and then we're going to bring that up to the boil. It should take about 5 to 10 minutes to reach the right temperature, and if you're using a sugar thermometer, the jam point is around 106 degrees Celsius or 220 Fahrenheit. As soon as it hits temperature, you can remove it off the heat, and I'm going to allow it to cool for a few minutes before pouring it into my food processor. Blitzing it through will make sure we have a nice smooth jam. So once it's blended, I'm also going to run that through a sieve, pressing it through so we get a nice smooth finish. Allow that to cool completely, and then you can pop it into the fridge until you're ready to use it. Okay, so our donuts have plumped up and they're almost doubled in size, so this is a great opportunity to start warming up your vegetable shortening. I'm using vegetable shortening instead of oil because that's going to give us a lovely crisp outer shell but keep them really nice and fluffy on the inside, and we don't have to worry about them being too oily. It's really quick and simple to fry these off, and then it's time to fill them. To cook your donuts, you want to place a pan on a medium heat. Add in your vegetable shortening and allow it to melt. We're then going to turn up the heat and then warm this to about 180 degrees Celsius. A great way to test that your vegetable shortening is ready is to take a spare piece of your donut dough and drop it in. It should go lovely and golden brown in about 1 minute, and then you can flip it over and finish cooking it. Remove it from the oil and let it cool before you try your first donut. Once you're happy with the finish, you can then move on to cooking the rest of the donuts. For these, you want to press them down slightly before you fry them, just to make sure we get a nice shape, and then place them in, trying not to overcrowd the pan. Again, these should take about 1 to 2 minutes to go golden before you flip them over. Give them another 1 to 2 minutes to brown on the other side, and then you want to remove them from the pan and place them into some kitchen towel to soak up any excess shortening. You can then repeat the process for the rest of your batch. So all our donuts are fried, they're looking lovely and golden, and our jam has cooled down, so now we can stuff them, and I'm going to pack in as much jam as possible before we finish them with our Hogwarts House glaze. It's a really quick and easy donut glaze recipe, then we'll use some food colouring to add our Hogwarts House colours before finishing them off with some glitter. This is what you need to do next. To make your easy Krispy Kreme donut glaze, all you need to do is sift your icing sugar into a bowl and then pour in your milk and your liquid glucose. Stir this through until you get a nice smooth glaze. I'm then going to split this mixture into 4 and then dye them with some food colouring gel into our Hogwarts House colours. That's red for Gryffindor, green for Slytherin, yellow for Hufflepuff, and blue for Ravenclaw. Next, you want to get your jam, and if it's too thick, you can thin it down slightly with some hot water, mixing it through until it's nice and pipeable. I'm going to pour mine into my piping bag with a small star nozzle on the end, and then we need to fill our donuts. Grab your donut, turn it upside down, and then press in your nozzle. You then want to squeeze, and you should feel some resistance from the donut as it fills up. Be careful not to overfill it though, as you don't want the donut to burst. All that's left to do is to dip the top of the donuts into your glaze, pick them up and swirl them around to make sure you get a nice even finish. I'm going to finish each of these with some edible glitter spray, and then our Hogwarts House jam donuts are complete. Only question left is, which one are you going to go for? So there you have it. Our Harry Potter Hogwarts House themed jam donuts are complete. It's a really easy jam donut recipe, but they taste irresistible. You get this lovely crisp and fluffy donut, and you'll hit that sweet filling inside, which will melt in your mouth. Let me know down below in the comments which house do you belong to, and then maybe I'll send you the right donut. That is all for this week's recipe, but if you want to see more from my Harry Potter kitchen, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the notification bell. Then you'll get an alert every Magic Monday when there's a brand new recipe. But I have a confession to make. Next Monday won't be a new recipe because we have officially finished baking our way through the Chamber of Secrets. It's been so much fun. So next week, you're gonna see some of the bloopers from this series, and the week after, we will start The Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm really excited to bring you some brand new recipes, and we'll be in a brand new kitchen. The only question is, how are we gonna get there? I don't know. I'm gonna enjoy some donuts in the meantime while I think it through. See you next time. Gryffindor.